can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Well, that's our ham-fisted way of introducing You Cannot Be Serious again for another week with the Duck. Now, just before we start, Duck, I've taken on board what you said. As we travel, we're up in a place called Kobold, up in the middle of nowhere. And as we travel around this great country, meeting people from all states and all parts of the world, even our welcome to country is more relevant. But I'm taking you on board what you said, and I'm swapping around the emphasis. So here is our welcome to country to all those that might be listening to this. So here it is. We acknowledge Aboriginal elders, their past dreams and cultures, and we pay respect. We also pay our respects to the pioneers who built this country. That is the updated version of Welcome to Country, which was never a traditional welcome. It has just become a recently introduced piece of nonsense. So if we're going to have a piece of nonsense introduced into welcoming everyone to this great country, let's make it relevant to everyone who's in the country. And we're paying great respects to the people as we drive around this great country and see Aboriginal folk. It's fantastic to see them. And they would probably appreciate the fact that some people got here some time ago and built the country into what it is. So that's that side of it, Duck. Now,
what a great and hang on, what a great country we live in. You're sitting on a caravan with a t-shirt on one side of it, boiling hot, and I'm sitting here with a fire in the background, a puffer jacket on, freezing cold. So
and we're sitting in it could be a 5-star hotel room here in a magnificent essential caravan, and we're up, and it is just like, as I say, it's like pulling around a 5-star room in a hotel. It is absolutely fantastic. And we sat by the pool. Now, I won't say what we did yesterday, because we sat by the pool and swam and drank. Well, we didn't drink, but we were going to drink because we thought it was too good to pass up. So, Duck, while I've been travelling up here, word trickled up to me that someone has rounded you up at some venue or some place down in Melbourne, and all hell has sort of broken loose because you have been once again thrown into the spotlight by someone doing some nefarious, I don't know, but it sounds like they've been doing some nefarious and sort of vexatious act to try and make themselves famous on your behalf. How am I going?
yeah, well, that's the amazing thing about the internet, isn't it? The times are a little bit different back when we were growing up, when there weren't mobile phones and you could film people in public venues or film people in private settings, and that's the world we live in. That's unfortunately the world my kids are going to grow up in, which is quite sad. It is. I've always been filmed. Sam, you're the same. I was in a restaurant. Actually, I was at Ricardo's not all that long ago. The restaurant we've been to a couple of times together, and I had a family filming me in the background. Just reversing while you're eating a meal. Sometimes you say something depending on the circumstances. Sometimes you don't.
Maybe they were checking your table manners, Duck.
Well, they were, and I tell you what, when you do notice someone filming you when you're eating, you probably do sharpen up with the table manners. I've just got a wonderful cat here, Luna, roaming around while I'm having a chat to you. I just said I've got the cat Luna roaming around the house while I'm talking.
Do you like cats?
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm more of a dog man, but I've grown to love cats.
I don't mind. I couldn't eat a whole one, but I don't mind cats.
What are you, Alf? Do you remember Alf? That show called Alf?
I've heard of it. I've never watched.
It was like a puppet.
Yeah.
And he's probably not allowed to show it now. Anyway, he used to like cats.
I see.
Yes,
you probably wouldn't. That be. Wait till we get on to what we're not allowed to do or say.
But more seriously, Sam. And I'm being a little flippant, but I'll put my
I can tell.
I'll put my serious hat on. Oh, annoyed's the wrong word. I've gone through 10 different emotions in the last 4 days. One has been disbelief. That's not an emotion, but I've gone through disbelief. I've gone through sadness. I've gone through anger. You know, I've had empathy. I've had all sorts of things go through this body and through this mind. And just last night and just this morning, I've been up since 5 a.m. and, you know, I put on my X, and I see that the AFL are up in arms, as they should be. A couple of Indigenous boys have been
Yes.
have been abused online.
By social media, anonymous social media outlets. A couple of boys, one from St Kilda and one from Port Adelaide, I think.
Port Adelaide, yes, correct.
To bear the
Gorga,
cross of
Burgoyne and
heads.
Wangaleen, yes, and you know that you've got the South Australian Police are involved. You've got all sorts of people involved, as they should be. But these cowards that sit behind a keyboard and write these things, and they have, you know, anonymous accounts, or they have I don't know what sort of accounts, or they're set up overseas, or whatever they do. But they're hard to catch, and the AFL are right behind it, and everyone's condemning it, as they should be condemning that. So what I want to say, Sam,
Well, they
is
should be condemning the person that filmed you and made a story out of nothing, I presume.
So this is what I want to talk about. So I don't know whether you're fully across what's occurred, but I want to talk about the two women. One woman that filmed myself, and an innocent bystander. An innocent bystander has been caught up in this. Now, it's not so much the filming, because the filming doesn't say too much, other than these particular girls waited and premeditated for me to walk into a toilet, not with anyone else, but walk into a toilet. I assume other people were in the toilets. It was unisex toilets, so they premeditated this. And they sat there and then made up a story about what occurred in those toilets. So these two women, now I can only guess why would they want to, okay, so I'm an ex-has-been AFL footballer, and it's gone through my mind a million times. What did they want to achieve? What women, middle-aged women, would want to sit there and film someone, and for what purpose? And then make up
Andy Warhol's Duck, you want to be famous for 15 seconds in your life.
But then make up a story about what occurred, right? So what did they want to achieve? Did they want to send a video, make up a story about what happened, and then did they want to? I thought, well, if they really wanted me to or ruin someone's life, they could have contacted Jess personally, made up this story, contacted her personally and said, guess what, I've just seen your partner come out of a toilet and a female came out 30 seconds in between, so therefore they must have been doing something in that toilet together. If that was the purpose, right. No, and if that was the purpose, why didn't they just contact Jess Correct? If that's what they wanted to do, if they wanted to ruin my life and ruin her life and ruin my kids' lives, why didn't they just do that? We're talking about two middle-aged women here, Sam, of which I want it to be known. I know who they are. The police know who they are. My lawyers know who they are. So I've contacted these people just like the footballers have contacted these people, because they've been abused online. And these women who now it's now the innocent bystander in all of this is the female involved. So
the female who the woman filmed. Correct.
So you say you sit there and you go, so what? Like I said last night, as you know, because I spoke to you, I said, and I was angry, and I keep coming back to Tess, not Jess. I keep coming back to Tess, and I say to myself, what would Tess be saying right now? And she would say, I mean, she's not caught up in a online something that's going viral online. But Tess, you know what Tess would say? This woman that was filming and the other woman that was involved, all that they were doing is projecting their own insecurities onto someone else to make themselves feel good about themselves. So that's all that these two women are trying to do. They were laughing.
You've taken action to
They were
nip this
laughing.
in the bud.
Lawyers have been engaged, Sam.
The great organisation we belong to, the AFL players, have they offered any assistance?
I contacted the AFL Players Association, Ben Smith, the acting CEO. By the way, he's been excellent. So we've had a few discussions. What I will say, I've also been contacted in the last 2 days by so many people that their kids that have been affected by this sort of stuff. So they've been filmed, bullied online. We have kids, we have people committing suicide on a weekly basis because of cowards like these two females. The other thing that is really important to note about this, Sam, if this was two men that filmed a woman coming out of a bathroom and then shamed her, slut shamed her, said, oh, she must have been in there rooting an ex-AFL footballer. And they did, if this was two men doing that, they would be already locked up. They would be on the front page. The front page of the paper would be talking about who are these two men. This is vile. This is disgusting. This is not good enough. This is purely two women. This is women picking on women.
So, Duck, to that end, we had my friend, and maybe not a friend of yours, but Warwick Capper had a throwaway line and got.
Please don't bring.
No, but he got 5 years for saying something.
Yeah, I know, but don't bring Warwick Capper into a serious discussion. I want to. So two women picking on another woman here, and that's all they were doing. They were slut shaming another woman. That is, you know how disgusting that is? Like I said, if two men had done that, they would be raked over hot coal. Like this would be the biggest story going around if that had occurred. Yes. But because it's two women doing it to another woman, this woman, and once again, when you do something like this, you don't know what someone's going through. This other woman has had all sorts of stuff going on in her life, I've since found out. This other woman and Jess have spoken about and are speaking about this. They have combined to make sure that these two women are held accountable. This is, you talk about vile and disgusting. What they have done and who they've affected by a few shits and giggles, drinking their Chardonnay, sitting up there, doing whatever. And once again, like I said, I'm not going to name them because that would be as pathetic as what they are. I will let the law take care of it. What I will say to the one that filmed is this.
Have you spoken to her?
No, I haven't. I've got all her details. I know where she works. What I would hope is this. She gets a good PR company because she's going to need one. I hope that. And the other thing, Sam, what sort of example are these two? I don't know. Are they mothers? Are they single mothers? Do they have a husband? Does the husband know what they get up to, filming people coming outside of toilets and then posting it online? What I also found out, Sam, is that this girl that posted it, the girl that filmed it, had an opportunity and was told by someone, do not post it. It is wrong. You do not put stuff that online, especially when you've made up a story around it. The filming itself is not damning. She's filmed people. I could sit in a pub and film people coming in and out of toilets all night and make up a narrative around it. Who does she think she is? Morgan Freeman, narrating a wildlife and saying, oh, I heard that people were like pigs, like completely made up crap. So
where are we up to, Duck?
So like I said, parents contacting me about their children that are being bullied online. And then you have these two middle-aged, I don't know whether they're mothers. I think one of them might be a mother. I don't know whether she's a single mother. I don't know. Have not even attempted to contact me or this other woman to apologise. Like I said, we don't know. You don't know what someone else is going through. This other woman has lost it. This other woman has had an horrific few months. She's lost her parents. She's split up from a partner. Like this is all stuff that I've found. And these two women think that it's okay to film her and shame her, slut shame her online and post it online. What sort of penalty should
So you've
these
spoken
two
to
women?
the other woman, have you?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. As has Jess, and we are speaking, and we are making. We will follow this through to the nth degree. This is absolute. They are disgraceful. This person that has done this,
Yes.
and like I said, like not even an attempt to apologise. I assume and I hope that this gets back to her because, like I said, I know exactly who she is. I know everything about her. I know everything to the nth degree, and this is going
Have you
to.
had some legal advice as to what action you can take against the filmer?
Yes, and this is the irony behind everything, Sam. When you're in a public place, you're allowed to film people. So we are allowed to be filmed in a public place.
Can't make up innuendo.
You can't make up innuendo. You can't make up innuendo. You can't bully someone online, and that's exactly what this has happened. This person has made up a narrative and then posted it online, which has then turned into bullying. It is now turned into this other person has been crucified online. And yes, there's been supportive people. So for all those people out there that have read through this absolute pathetic, disgusting, vile people that have put that on, well done to them for having a brain and understanding exactly what's occurred here. So will it be followed, categorically followed through, Sam? I will have meetings today. Like I said, lawyers have been engaged. AFL Players Association have been engaged. Ben Smith has been supportive in it. I'm just still, and I know you're sitting there, you lost words. I'm just still blown away that these women that are in their 40s, right, can think that that's a good idea. Now the one that now the children, yeah, but they're children. So how are they going to explain when this all blows up in their face? How are they going to explain to their children, or have they already said, "Listen, oh, mum might have done the wrong thing. Mum had too many Chardonnays and sat outside a toilet and filmed people." Like, I mean,
So,
I just can't. You talk about angry. Oh,
yes, I know you're angry.
I mean, the anger's coming through now. I'll settle down. I'll have a session with Tess. Jess has been,
Yeah.
Jess has been amazing. My younger children are too young to understand what's going on, but my 19-year-old, my 10-year-old, the amount of people that have contacted me through this, the amount of and the amount of people that have contacted me to give me the name of this pathetic person that did this has been quite incredible. Although there are accounts out there that continue to post it and everything else, but all that does, Sam, is make us stronger. It makes the case stronger. The further it goes, it makes the case stronger against this pathetic individual that has done this. And like I said, we'll know more by the end of today. And when we next have a chat, I'm pretty sure by this time next week, when you're sunning yourself in some beautiful little country town, we'll have a result.
Well, let's hope someone. I got sent when this happened. The video or the from appeared on my phone. Bloke in the Netherlands said, "Have you seen this footage?" And I had no idea what's going on. I'm driving in the so. Anyway,
I would just, you know what it said? I would love an answer as to, from this woman, I'd just love her to say, "Oh, we just thought, we would film you." Oh, by the way, the phone call that I was on, just for clarity, because I've gone through all records, the phone that I was on when I came out of the bathroom, and everyone said, "Oh," and she said, "Oh, well, look at him, he's on the phone," and, put a narrative around that. I wonder who he's calling. Wonder if he's calling his wife. I was on the phone to Jess, actually. We've narrowed it down, and that's who I was on the phone to. This is
What were you speaking about when you came out of the bathroom, Doug?
I'll probably saying I'll be home
Be
soon.
home shortly,
I'll be home
or,
shortly.
or today.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
us a couple of days. I'll call in shortly.
And that's one of the things I love about you, Sam. You make me laugh, and you'll put a lighter side to it, and it's good. And by the end of this, I'll be laughing, and I'll take my mind off this for the next 40 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I'll feel good, and I'll get back to it. But I am now dedicated. I'm dedicated to helping and doing the right thing, not just for myself and my family, for this person, this innocent bystander that has copped it left and right from these two pathetic. Once again, I just want to highlight once again, this is women being cruel to another woman. That's what this is. That's what these women have done. They have shamed another woman, and that is so wrong. And you know what, Sam? It happens far too often,
Yes, and
and
while
it doesn't get called out.
no,
Once again, men that do it, it gets called out straight away, as it should. But
and
these two women,
let's hope there's as much effort goes into finding the people who have that
well, we've
anonymous
found them,
social
Sam.
media
We've found
account
them.
that slagged those two Indigenous boys, one from St
Correct.
Kilda. Let's hope that in this day and age, if you can't find out, I don't know, maybe you can't, I don't know anything about the dark web. If you can't find out by some means who sent those posts to those two lads, because they'll be doing it tough too. They don't want to have to put up with that stuff. And
No. I totally. And look, like you and I know better than anyone that every time we go out, we're a target. I mean, what a month I've had. 4 weeks ago, I've got someone pissed that comes up and gobs off and says something that you shouldn't say, and that gets blown into something. And and probably because of that, Sam, and it's fresh in everyone's mind, and you are recognisable. So people watch you go into the toilet and then film you when you come out, and then put a story behind it. Like, how pathetic! Like, it blows my mind what sort of people are out there and what people are capable of doing.
so,
It really does.
so if you've got your life coach Tess on superannuation, she's working overtime, Duck.
Well, I will be talking to Tess today
Yes.
because I need to think
Settle
clearly.
down, you need to.
Well, I need to think clearly through this, and you know what? And the amazing thing is, Tess will put more of an understanding behind the individual that filmed it, and she will calm me in that understanding, and she'll explain why and how that person thinks and why she did it. And you know what, Sam? It might be as simple. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a perfect person. I've never made
I'm
mistakes and
glad you're
blah
not
blah
saying
blah.
that, Duck.
And it might be no, correct. And
No,
I've made heaps of blues, but I tell you what, Sam, I've owned them.
you
I've
have.
owned them. I haven't hid behind anyone else. I haven't hid behind mental health. I haven't hid behind alcohol. I haven't hid behind drugs. I've never hid. I've owned it. Now, this individual might say, "Oh, I had too many Chardonnays." Well, come out and say, "I got pissed. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. This should never have happened. I made up a story in my own head. I've gone with it, and I'm so sorry I posted that.
That
I'm
seems a
so sorry I
perfectly
posted
reasonable request, Duck. That does.
that. You would think so. So let's see where this goes to from
And if
here.
I
But
could just apologise, I don't know what came over me for mentioning Warwick Capper in the whole thing that we were talking about. I'm sorry I mentioned even his name.
no, well,
Because
when
I
you're
was trying to
talking,
draw an analogy about men and women, but I was
yes, I
completely
know.
out of line, Duck. I hope you won't
Well,
chastise me
no,
too much.
I'm not. No. I just when you're having a serious
Well,
conversation,
I
don't.
was being serious about that.
No, you were
Um,
just yeah. So
yeah,
so what? So and Sam, just to finish on it, the and this look, the more you ask people to have empathy around someone that's gone through a tough time and now has been thrown into this. This poor woman has been thrown into this because of an ex-has-been footballer, and someone wants to film it. Like, uh, that's the person. And Jess, and her mum and other people are affected as well. But this person in particular that was videoed as well has been thrown into this just because I could
Thrown
kick
under
a
the bus.
just because I could kick a footy, and you got two vile, disturbing, probably pissed women who want to do this to another woman. It is anyway, I could rave on about it all day and get angry. I'm repeating myself now, but so let's move on. Let's move on. I will I'll just calm myself down and now let's get on with the let's get on with stuff that it's going to just please don't bring up welcome to country again, because that's a downer. Just bring me up.
Welcome to country's a winner. That's
Yes, no, your
lift
new
the
welcome
nation.
to country's a winner. Your new welcome to country, I liked it.
Good. So
I noticed you got the defibrillator just behind you there in case you.
well done. Yeah, look, this is the young Sue's. This is it here. This is young Sue's got this on standby. That's there.
Well, yeah.
She whips it out and goes bang, bang, bang. It's a
How's
winner.
the foot? How's the foot, by the way?
Foot's fantastic, Duck. I can nearly walk now. Now, Duck, so I've just got to get on to something lighter because I was going to address the Jack Graham incident about him self-reporting the fact that he. I'll get onto that in a minute, but we'll we'll just get onto something a little lighter. We'll cover that in the second half of our chat.
Well, if Jack Graham gets 4 weeks for using a homophobic slur on a footy field, what should these women get? What should the women that film get? How many weeks would you give her?
I'm not getting onto Jack Graham yet. I'm just lightening things
No, but
up.
he got 4 weeks. How many would you give the woman that filmed people coming outside of a toilet and what? How many would she get? Would she get a year?
Well, if she was engaged in some sort of activity that.
No, would she get a year if she was?
What we do
That
is
she,
we
you know,
deport her.
if you're comparing apples with apples, she'd have to get 12 months, wouldn't she?
I'm not sure that's.
No, but Ben Graham, look, not Ben Graham,
No,
not Ben Graham, Jack Graham. Ben,
I wasn't
sorry,
going to get onto that.
no, but Jack Graham, no, but we don't know. Do we actually know what he said?
Yeah, he called him a faggot.
Okay,
I think.
all right,
That's
all
what
right.
he said.
I'm not sure. Look, I know they're stamping homophobic slurs. Obviously, we know racial slurs. We know all of that. We know that it's not on. Look, the penalty is we had. By the way, young Harley Reid kicked someone in the physically in the leg, and I remember Glenn Archer did this in the '90s. His reaction was to throw his leg, but not in a kicking motion. To stop his opponent from getting past him. You know, sometimes it's natural, Sam, on the footy field to throw your body weight to the right. And I remember Glenn Archer got weeks for doing that, weeks back in the 90s for doing that. Harley Reid has kicked someone forcibly in the leg and got off with a fine, and then Jack Graham gets 4 weeks for saying that.
Well,
Just doesn't marry up.
I said that what Jack Graham called him a faggot. I thought I read that somewhere. So if that is not the case, then I've misrepresented Jack, and so I'm sure that's what I read. Or else
Who reported that? Was it the player on the receiving end?
He's self-reported saying he's done the wrong thing, and I think the bloke he said it to was a friend of his and knew that it was just in his own social construct that it would be. I've been called that by plenty of people, and I know if you're of a different sexual preclusion, that is. But honestly, I reckon most of the country will roll their eyes into the back of their head and think, "My God, where is this all headed?" Can I tell you where this is all headed? So where do you draw the line at this, Duck? Yeah. So I notice a boy called. I'll just find his name. A bloke, Ronaldo Militulo. He plays for the Sharks. He said, if you're not ban sledging, he said the game's boring. He said, what's wrong with sledging people as long as it's not about race? So here's a list of things. Is it all right? Could you be penalised by the league for calling someone on the field a cocksucker, a cocksmack, a big girl, a shithead, a turd, a monkey, a dog, a fat fucker, a dwarf, a midget, an ugly dumbass, or a pox-ridden dickwit? Could you, if you called your opponent?
I think a few of those are off limits, but a few of them are
Which
okay.
one would be off limits?
Oh, well, you read through them too quickly. But I know there's some of those that are on that are definitely, because some of those are homophobic slurs. Some of them can be referred to
they're
race.
all, any slur, any sledge is, anyone can take offence at anything in the world.
I think when you're on the football field, Sam, and I've always
What about
gone by.
duck? Because you waddle. If someone called you a
No,
duck,
well, I've always gone by these guidelines, and that is if you, when you're on the football field, for instance, if you're playing a professional sport and you're playing sport full stop, and the other person, I've always felt it's open slather on the other person's ability to play that sport. So if that means if they're a little bit slow, or you might say, oh, you okay, turtle. By the way, you couldn't get a kick in a street fight or whatever. You can go on about their footy ability. Actually, there was a good one on. I think Jason Horne-Francis or Harley Reid said to Jason Horne-Francis on the weekend. He said, "You only stayed for 1 year. You had to run home to mummy. You had to run home to mummy after 1 year," and everyone's saying what a great sledge that was. Now, Jason Horne-Francis kicked 2 goals and won the game for Port Adelaide, so it didn't work. But people were saying that sort of stuff should be still allowed. You should be able to have some banter, but it's the other stuff, Sam, and we know the racial stuff. Look, the homophobic stuff shouldn't be allowed. Does it deserve 4 weeks? Well, I think that it's a well-known fact now that you can't do it. That we've got to. The AFL are obviously going to hit people between the eyes and say, well,
Would you like me to read out the other things that I just read out? And you can tell me which one would you think you'd get 6 weeks for if you said it to someone.
Okay.
Incidentally, Brian Taylor, our old friend, BT.
I caught up with BT after I spoke to you last week.
He called.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
I did.
I caught up with BT just quickly, but I know I'm trend guessing, but I went up to BT's house in Lorne. Geez, I tell you what, he's in the clouds, BT. I went to his shed. I went to his work shed. I saw all the power tools, the DeWalt tools, and he's got 1 million of those. He's got the boxing ring set up in the shed. The house is magnificent.
What's he got all the power tools there for? What is he in the construction industry?
No, well, BT's a handy. He's an ex-plumber. He's a handyman. He's always doing works, and you know what? It was absolutely magnificent. He gave me the tour. He also looked after the kids at the zip wire. Rang them up, and they got looked after, and they had a great day there. So I just wanted to give a shout out to BT. Thank you, mate.
I'm giving a shout out to BT. Some years ago, about 10 years ago, he called Harry Taylor a big poofter because on air, because Harry was waving to everyone at a milestone game, and Brian said, "God Almighty, mate," he said, "you're walking around like the Queen, waving at people." What happened to Brian was, this is what happened to Brian, having called Harry Taylor a big poofter. He said, I've spoke, this is 3AW is broadcasting on. He said, "I've spoken to 3AW management and they've chosen to give me the day off to collect my thoughts. So I'll take the opportunity to have a day off," Taylor said when he was asked about. So he got just the day off from calling duties, but he had to go to he had to go and get counselled. And he had to go to a pride education program about, so he was counselled that you can't call someone a poofter. Would you like me to read out the things that I said that you might get into
By the
trouble?
way, that was a long time ago too.
That was 10 years ago.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's a long time ago, isn't it?
Absolutely, Doug. No, it is. I think I painted my face black pretending I was Nicky Winmar 25 years ago, but that's the first thing that's ever mentioned when I that I did.
Well, Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that was
30 years ago. Was
yeah.
Well, read out the things that you
Yeah,
can't call.
yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, go.
So if I was playing on you, could I call you a
Yes.
cocksucker?
You can call me anything. That's the
Oh, well,
problem.
that's the
I
point.
don't
If
take
you are
offence
of the
to it.
same social construct of someone, what does it matter what you call them if
But
they
I'll tell you.
obviously
But I'll
don't
tell
take
you
offence
that's
at it?
so. I will say to most people that's a no.
You can't call someone a cocksucker
No, I'd say to most
on a
people
football
no.
field.
I'd say to most people no in this day
Oh,
and
well,
age.
then that you'll rule out cocksmack. What about
No. See, I think that's probably a cocksmack is basically saying you're a dickhead.
well, could you call someone a dickhead?
I think dickhead's
What about
okay.
a big girl? You're a big
Uh,
Sheila.
I see. I once
Have a
again, I don't
listen
have
to
a
you.
problem with that. I don't think that's reportable.
What about a shithead?
Fine,
Turd?
fine,
Monkey? No,
not fine because of the
monkey, but
reference.
not
No, because no,
only
because of
if
the
it's of
reference of
your
what.
own social construct. And what
Yeah.
about a dog or a fat
Well, if you
fucker?
call
What happens if you're a little
Well, if you
overweight? You
call
say,
well, if you call someone a dog in the outside world, Sam,
yeah,
you'll get a punch on the
I'm
chin.
not talking about the
Um,
outside world.
so it's very derogatory. No, I would say
I'm
you can do
taking
that.
Ronaldo Militulo's he edict. He says it is becoming boring if you're not allowed to sledge
Okay, so
people.
what are the others? So a dog. If you
Dog,
say
a
dog, I'm
fat
not pretty good
fucker.
on.
What about if you're playing someone who's a bit overweight?
I think if in AFL at AFL level, if someone's overweight,
Oh
given
no,
it's at
please.
let me finish. Given that it's at professional level, I think that's open slather.
What if
I
someone's a
think
little so?
if they're overweight, you should be able to say, hey, Porky, lose some weight. You're playing a professional sport.
They would say that they'd take offence at that.
Oh, well, I think that's okay.
Well, that's so motherfucker. I mean, motherfucker. Or what
Uh,
about
no, yeah, no. In the that's all that is all in the context. You're not allowed to say that you are
not a milf?
doing that to one's mother, but you're allowed. I
You're
think
not a
you're allowed to
milf.
say, hey,
You're not a milf.
no, I'm a dilf.
You know what milf is, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're a dilf. You're a dilf.
No. What about dwarf or midget if someone's a bit short?
No, I think
The point
no,
of all this is
no.
how
I think that's okay. I actually think that's okay. But from what I remember, we did a day at Triple M many years ago, and there the dwarfs and midgets that are out there take offence to that. So I think that is off.
what if you were
Off.
calling someone short who's on the football field? You said, "You little dwarf, get out
Well,
of my."
I think maybe you could just use short ass
Oh God!
or
What about
fleet
if you
or
knew someone
what
had?
about if you call him Mighty Mouse or Flea Man
But that's not
or
a sledge. That's the
Ant
sledge is
Man?
meant to be
Well,
cutting.
if you called him Ant Man or Flea Man or something like that, that's different to calling him
That's not a
something that's
sledge duck because it's not offensive. What about if you knew someone had syphilis and you
well.
called
If
them
it's
a
a
pox? What
they
about
call
if
him a
you
what?
knew? What about if your friend of yours you knew had syphilis and you called him out in the football field a pox-ridden dickwit? Would that be off limits, knowing that they had syphilis?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's the whole point of this. Is
Yes, I get it. I
fuck
get what
me,
you're
what
saying, but
world are we living in?
you're a smart man. There's things there's obvious things you can say, and obviously things you can't. And to all that, I think what you said before. To be honest, dwarf midget, those days are gone. You can't say that. There's other things you can talk about. There's
On the
other things you can
football
talk.
field, I'm talking.
I know there's other things you can say about one's height. You know, did you might
You're
say, Sam?
vertically challenged.
No, you might say you run past. I remember I used to say, and I don't want to say his name because he'll get upset, but I remember Rocky and I are great mates. My premiership teammate, one of the toughest men I've ever played with. In actual fact, the best number three that the North Melbourne footy. He was a superstar. Could have almost won the '96 Norm Smith. But I used to say to him, do you have to do the Frosby flop to get into bed? So, because so you know, you've got to use your imagination
No, you
without
don't
being.
have to use. That's the point of sledging, Duck. If you said to someone, "Oh, you old sausage, you're vertically challenged," that is not as tough as saying, "You fucking little dwarf, get out of
It's
my
like
way."
if someone, if rather than these days, someone doesn't go at the ball hard enough, and you know, you'd go, "Oh, do you sleep?" You don't absolutely cane them and say you're as weak. You just say, "Oh, do you sleep with the light on?"
Yes, that
Yeah,
means they're
stuff like that.
scared.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what? Yeah. So would that be a penalty?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No, that's the whole point of it. When is it? Now, Duck. Uh, so,
Hmm.
um, so, what about now? I'm serious about this. What about the Collingwood bloke who got 5 years suspension because he wrote a text or he wrote on social media that Carlton are currently or police are looking for 22 missing Carlton players and the preemptive murder of the coach.
Yeah,
Mark,
Michael Voss. Michael
he got
Voss. Yep.
5 years for that. The coppers didn't even take it seriously. That is just honestly and truly.
Yeah, I thought, Sam, to be honest, when I read what was said, and it was obviously clearly not how that was taken as
Who
a
takes that
threat.
seriously besides the
How that
league,
was
who are
taken? Yeah,
just
correct. How that was
virtuous?
taken as a threat. I'm not sure how that was taken as a threat. I think that was blown completely out of proportion. And I agree. I agree with your sentiments
The
there.
league are hell bent on showing feigned virtuosity about every single thing that goes on in the community. If they could get the game right, we'll speak about the game, and we're coming back, Duck. I've got
Yes, we are,
things to say about
yeah,
sport.
no, yes,
Hang
correct.
on.
You know what? We'll have a nice. We'll be able to speak about some other things, and I have cooled down. So thank you.
Well done, Duck. We'll be back.